elements, and then you see them in the new movies, and they pull the Spectre with them. They forgot about him. Yeah. It's a bummer. So Ghost, I would not recommend it. It's not a bad show, but it's also not like a great show either. It's a show. So now we're going to move on to the current Kamen Rider series, Kamen Rider X8. Oh wait, no, I lied. Gotcha. All right. So this gentleman right here is Hiroshi Fujioka, reprising his role as Hongo Takashi, Kamen Rider 1. Last year with Kamen Rider Ghost, there was a new Kamen Rider movie called Kamen Rider Ichigo. It was just about Rider 1. It's pretty cool. Now, before going any further, let's talk about why nobody saw Rider 2. This is going to be the saddest thing you're going to hear in this whole panel. Kamen Rider 2 isn't dead. But for a long time there, he really wished he was. The gentleman that played Rider 2, not too long after Kamen Rider, actually was in a house fire where his gas lantern tipped over in the middle of the night. It caught his hair first. He decided to run and catch all his family before burning himself out. His family didn't make it, his home didn't make it, none of his pets made it, and he lost all his hair. He was seriously deformed. And after that, he lost all his acting gigs. He refused to do any work. He essentially became a bum who was selling tangerines on the side of the road for a while. And he just refused help from people. Just refused it. So eventually he got a couple surgeries, got himself back up to where he looked closer to what he used to, but I mean, the guy lost a lot. And you can even see him now, he doesn't want anything to do with Rider whatsoever, purely because he knows that he's supposed to be an undying cyborg in this show. He wants to be that image of, I can't die, I'm Rider, that whole thing. And apparently a child saw him not too long after that, and the kid started crying and murdered him on the inside. So that's the whole reason why he never did anything Rider related again until kind of recently. Hiroshi Fujioka did this movie in hopes to try to get him to come back and do some more Rider events. Because of this movie, the guy that played Rider 2 has been showing up at events alongside Fujioka. He doesn't answer questions, but he makes appearances. And that's a really big step because unfortunately for some of these actors, some of them either have really great careers after or they fade into obscurity. It's heartbreaking. And that's why I come to tell you about these guys, and so you see all their other stuff, so you guys can get excited about these actors, and hopefully maybe we can see them here in the future. Another example of a writer that I really love, and I was hoping they'd be doing something better, the gentleman that plays Kamen Rider O's, his name is Shu Watanabe. He's a very, very talented individual. Unfortunately, he wasn't the standout character in the show. The gentleman that played Ankh was. So the guy that played Ankh is currently doing musicals like Black Butler playing characters like Joker, whereas Shu Watanabe is playing Pokemon on YouTube for ad revenue. Shit. He's actually doing really well for himself right now. He's one of the more popular Pokemon YouTubers out there, but this is an example of what I mean. Sometimes they just don't get really great roles after, and sometimes they really do. It really just depends on who likes what, and sometimes you don't get a great shot with these shows. Sometimes these shows are a really great stepping off point, sometimes these shows are stepping off into the abyss. Luckily for Fujioka, that was not the case for him at all. He's considered to be Japan's Sylvester Stallone, so much so he actually shows up for Rambo events as Rambo. He still owns like a body double for the game and stuff like that too. It's really interesting. So anyways, Fujioka came back and he said that he wanted to be Rider for everybody one more time, and they were like, all right. And he's like, I want to write this. And they're like, all right. And he's like, I want to be big. And they're like, okay. And he's like, I want to be in the suit. And he's like, aren't you 70? He's like, well, I want to do it. And they're like, all right. So here's Kamen Rider Ichigo, and this is what I would like to call Kamen Rider Ichigo in his Nova form. The reason why I say Nova is because there's a new version of Shocker called Nova Shocker out, and I'm like, come on, if it's Ichigo fighting Shocker, and Shocker got stronger, and it's a new version of Ichigo, and Ichigo got stronger, Nova Ichigo. That's just me, that's all speculation, that crap. Anyways, he had to team up with those losers, and damn it. To be fair though, his movie is actually really good without the ghost part, so if you edit all that crap out, it's a pretty solid movie. There's a scene where he's in Thailand and he does a fight without the suit, and he like takes chopsticks and slams it through the guy's hands, and he like lifts his hands through the chopsticks. I'm like, holy crap, this is a kid show. So I recommend checking out this movie on its own because it delivers a message where it's like Fujioka is kind of saying like, I could come back to Rider in the future, but if this is my last time doing it, I want you all to remember that I am always Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is always going to be there for you. Even if there's no God, even if there's no Buddha or Allah, there's always Kamen Rider on Sundays. Unless there's golf. Fuck golf. So, just to prove that it was really him in the suit, at the press event, he took off the helmet and showed everybody that was him in the suit. In Kamen Rider, you are never allowed to take a photo of yourself with the mask off. Unless it is something specifically designed for the finale of the show, like a mask getting blown off, or you need to remove your mask so you show your true face. The reason why they do that is they don't want kids to lose the image of that being that hero. So when you're at conventions and stuff like that in Japan and you're dressed as Kamen Rider, they have guards there making sure you keep your mask on the whole damn time you're there taking photos until they drag your ass away. Dead serious. You should go check the Comic Cat videos, it's great. There's one dude who's dead-o trying to take his mask off, and you see one of the guard guys come up and go, looking around, really angry. It's a good time. Anyways, so seeing Fujioka come back, being 75 years old, doing stunts, being in this big bulky-ass suit, looking like he's about to choke himself in that thing. It was cool. It's a really cool movie. It's fun to see Rider 1 return. Now let's talk about X8. Yeah. Who likes video games? Yeah. Woo! Not everybody. Okay, so this is Kamen Rider X8. What? Yeah! Anybody remember a show called Kabutik? It's okay, so right after B-Fighter, they made a character that looked like a beetle.
Everybody remember it. Toei won't release it on DVD.
That's true. But if you know how to fool YouTube and you can change where your VPN is, make it think you're coming from Japan, you can watch a lot of series from Super Sentai completely subbed in English on their channel. Because they let Canada watch it, but not us, jerks. So anyways, this is X8 in his level 1 form. It's kind of goofy, kind of really silly looking, but that's okay because he actually changes and he becomes Kamen Rider X8 in his level 2 form. Looks more like Rider-esque, but here's something where the mold of Kamen Rider has been changed. One of the major points of it has become completely changed entirely. Most Riders have a weird, like, kind of bug-like eye system, like weird grid, right? Now he still has the gem and everything, but his antennae are gone, so instead of a crest even, he has hair. But Tony, he does look a little bit like an Akiba Ranger, yeah. And instead of having a crusher, he has a mouth plate. So as far as Kamen Rider designs go, he is by far the most bizarre one since Hibiki. Now, the other cool thing about X8 is that he's a video game player, but he's also a doctor. So there's this thing called the Buckster virus created by that dickbag right there. And the Buckster virus essentially what it does is causes you a huge amount of stress. You stress out more, you're going to disappear. The only way you can stop this from happening is you have the doctors from CR. Go ahead and stand up. Show everybody yourself. This is Hojo Emin right here. Yeah. He uses the gamer driver to transform into X8 to perform operations on you, to kill the Bugster and help you live a happy, healthy, normal life. The show starts off very kiddie and silly. You know, he's a doctor. He wants you to play video games. You know, doctors do cool stuff. So these are all doctors except for the guys on the end. We'll get to them in a second. So the guy with the gun right there is Kamen Rider Snipe. He's a doctor that has lost his license, but he still performs, operations because, that's not illegal as shit. And then, yes, he's the illegal doctor. Then there's Kamen Rider Brave, and he can cut through anything, even your bullshit. So he's a lot of fun. I like him as a character. If you guys like Dragon Quest, he's another character I think you guys would really enjoy. He has a lot of tropes from Joe's games in there. Then the guy on the far left is Kamen Rider Laser. He's the second bike rider. That is a bike. Don't get attached. And the guy on the far right is Kamen Rider Genem, also known as the Black X8. He is the one that is this dude eventually down here. He's the one that created these viruses and started attacking people. And it's all for some really sinister plot because he just wants to play the best game. He wants to be the game master. So we're going to keep moving along. Remember how I said X8 is a doctor? Eat Doritos, drink Mountain Dew while playing video games, doctor's orders. So, I had fun photoshopping that, by the way. So, all right, moving right along. So these are all this is all the cast for X8, except for the gentleman in the black blazer and the white shirt. That's Daiichi Miura. He's the guy that sings the Excite theme song. So, starting on the far left, that is the gentleman that plays Palad. He is a very important character in the show. I don't want to say shit about him because he's awesome. Okay? The lady next to him is Asuna. She actually has a really important role. We'll get to her in just a moment. The guy next to her is Snipe. He's the guy that's in the Snipe suit. And then there's Emu. He's the main rider. Then Brave is the one with the long tie. Okay. This guy's name is Tetsuya. I know this guy because I've been talking to him on Twitter. I freaking love this actor. He's the best. He speaks proficiently in English. The guy's very, very smart. He's a very smart, intelligent dude, and he loves eating this. He masticates the scenery. He just chews into it. He's just like. So he is Dan Kuroto, aka Kami-sama. He's so good. He's God. Savior. He can't be defeated. He's your savior. And then the guy on the far right is Kiriya, and he is the coroner. And he's the bike guy, and he has a rough. So anyways, we're going to go back to Asuna real quick. Asuna is supposed to be the rider girl in the series, but Asuna is actually very special because she's not really a girl. She's a bugster. She turns into that thing on the right, so she has a transformation that's not really a transformation without a belt. Neat, huh? So when she's not Asuna, she's Poppy People. And Poppy is a bugster. That's a good bugster. She's there to help everybody, but she can still kind of affect people the same way that other bugsters do. And eventually, she gets her very own belt. And she turns into Kamen Rider Poppy. She's the first Kamen Rider that is a female rider that hasn't freaking died yet. Hold your breath, we got 20 episodes yet. Calm down, we got 20 episodes. Calm down, don't get your hopes up, please. But she's not the only female writer in the show. She's not. There's another one. There's a character later on that becomes Snipe's girlfriend in a sense. Her name is She wants to be Emu because Emu beat her in a video game when she was a kid, and so, you know, hold grudges, stalk people for years, that's cool. And eventually she starts playing the ride game like everybody else does later on the show, and she becomes Kamen Rider Nico. It's just a ride player with a hat on and a sticker. But she actually started beating monsters, and she's doing way better than the other ride players. So in the game that they're playing, if you become a ride player, you're gonna get the Bugster virus. They're tricking people into playing this game thinking they're gonna get some great prize, and instead we're just infecting more people. Pretty brutal. So later on, everybody starts getting upgrades. These are all the level 3 forms. You got Gengetult's robots for X8, so he looks kind of like a Gundam kind of style dude. Genom gets Shaikiri Sports, so he looks like he just got in a biking accident. And then Snipe gets Top Gun, essentially. Then Brave, he gets Doremi Fabit, so he's kind of like playing DJ Hero on his arm. And Laser gets Giri Giri Chambara, which makes him like a giant samurai guy. So he's like a punk samurai. He's got like a weird mohawk deal and these swords, and he's really cool and really neat. And then these guys are really cool, but I'm not gonna tell you who they are. If you know the show, you know who they are. If you don't know who they are, they're important. They're very important. They're super important. They're totally 2 different dudes. This is the Game Master Dan Kuroto in his newest form, Dangerous Zombie, which I've been cosplaying as this whole weekend. This guy shows up in the Christmas episode 12. X8 starts off very kiddie and very silly. The moment you hit episode 12, it starts off very kiddie and silly. As the moment X8 and everybody stop the Christmas fun, the coroner gets to meet with the Dangerous Zombie. And all hell breaks loose in the show. And from that point on, every 12